RIZIN CEO Nobuyuki Sakakibara took the microphone with a gleam in his eye, the kind of excitement that only comes when the future of Japanese MMA is brimming with possibilities. He spoke with the weight of years in the fight business, yet there was an unmistakable spark of anticipation in his voice. He began by addressing the electrifying momentum of the featherweight division. The crowd had barely settled after another night of unforgettable action when Sakakibara shared his thoughts about the surging force that is Shidalev. The name alone carried an energy that made the audience lean forward. If Shidalev wants to fight 3 times a day in the featherweight division, he said with a confident grin, then wouldn't it be better to fight Satoshi? Those words were like a match striking dry tinder. The mention of Roberto Satoshi Souza immediately sent a ripple of excitement through the press area. Fans know Satoshi as a champion with an extraordinary ground game, a man who can turn a fight into a chess match of grappling brilliance. Pairing him against the relentless drive of Shidalev felt like destiny waiting to be confirmed. Sakakibara didn't stop there. He leaned into the microphone, the corners of his mouth lifting as though he already envisioned the roaring crowd. "I'd also like to discuss this with Mikuru Asakura," he added. The invocation of Mikuru Asakura's name was another spark. Asakura, a fighter with charisma as sharp as his striking, represents both star power and tactical depth. Sakakibara knows that any conversation about featherweight greatness must pass through Asakura's orbit. It wasn't just matchmaking, it was about crafting a narrative that fans could feel in their bones. Then came the revelation that set imaginations ablaze. New Year's Eve will be a stadium version, Sakakibara declared. Those words resonated like a promise. New Year's Eve in Japan has long been sacred to fight fans, a night when the sport feels larger than life. To hear that the event would be a stadium version suggested something grand, something colossal, perhaps a return to the days when Japanese MMA filled domes with tens of thousands of roaring supporters. Sakakibara spoke not just as a promoter but as a storyteller. He painted a picture of a featherweight landscape where warriors like Shidalev, Satoshi, and Asakura could collide. He spoke of nights when the lights would burn brighter and the stakes would rise higher than ever before. He reflected on the remarkable year RIZIN had already experienced. From electrifying knockouts to masterful submissions, the promotion had proven that it could blend spectacle with elite competition. Yet Sakakibara's tone made it clear that the best was still to come. The CEO praised Shidalev's relentless hunger. A fighter willing to fight 3 times a day embodies a ferocity that captivates audiences. Sakakibara described him as a force of nature, a competitor who could shake the very foundation of the division. He spoke of Satoshi Souza with equal reverence. A jiu-jitsu world champion, Satoshi carries the calm precision of a master tactician. For Sakakibara, matching such a technician against a storm like Shidalev is the kind of clash that defines eras. The mention of Mikuru Asakura wasn't casual. Sakakibara knows the power of a fighter who connects beyond the cage. Asakura's charisma draws mainstream attention, ensuring that any event he touches becomes a cultural moment. Reporters fired questions, but Sakakibara's answers always circled back to the same theme: ambition. He envisioned a New Year's Eve spectacle not merely as an event but as a celebration of everything RIZIN stands for: courage, drama, and the pursuit of greatness. He described how the stadium atmosphere would amplify every strike, every roar of the crowd. He imagined fans from across Japan gathering under the winter sky, united by the thrill of combat sports. Sakakibara hinted at negotiations already underway. He spoke of ongoing talks with international fighters and potential cross-promotional opportunities. RIZIN's New Year's Eve card, he promised, would feature surprises that no one would see coming. He acknowledged the challenges of matchmaking. Fighters of this caliber bring their own demands, their own schedules, but his voice carried certainty. "We will make it happen," he said. The CEO reminisced about the golden days of Japanese MMA, when pride and spectacle filled massive arenas and captivated millions. He vowed that this year's stadium show would recapture that magic while ushering in a new generation of stars. He highlighted the importance of fan energy. For Sakakibara, the fans are not just spectators but participants who breathe life into every fight. A stadium full of voices, he said, would create a symphony of passion unmatched anywhere in the world. He spoke of the fighters' courage, of the sacrifices they make to entertain and inspire. He described Shidalev's grueling training camps, Satoshi's endless hours perfecting his craft, and Asakura's unyielding focus on evolving as a martial artist. Each name he mentioned carried a different rhythm: Shidalev the storm, Satoshi the strategist, Asakura the icon. Together, they represented the past, present, and future of RIZIN's featherweight division. The press conference stretched on, but no one left their seats. Every sentence from Sakakibara felt like a thread in a tapestry of anticipation. He teased the possibility of international stars joining the card. He talked of champions from other promotions who might be tempted by the bright lights of a RIZIN New Year's Eve. He reminded everyone that RIZIN's mission goes beyond competition. It is about creating memories, about giving fans stories they will tell for years. Sakakibara shared his admiration for fighters who take risks. To fight 3 times a day, he said again, as the spirit of a warrior. That's what our audience wants to see. The room buzzed with speculation. Would Shidalev truly face Satoshi? Would Asakura step into the cage that night? Sakakibara offered no guarantees, only a smile that promised fireworks. He spoke of the team working behind the scenes, matchmakers, production crews, marketing experts, all united in the goal of delivering the biggest show in RIZIN history. He described the sound of the crowd when a knockout lands, the silence just before a submission finish. He said these moments were why he still loved the sport after all these years. He invited fans to dream big, to imagine a night when legends are born. He recalled the first time he saw a stadium packed for an MMA event and how that memory still drives him today. Sakakibara's words painted not just a fight card but a movement, a cultural phenomenon. He ended the conference with a challenge to the fighters themselves. "The door is open," he said. "Who among you will seize this moment?" The room erupted in applause, not just for what had been announced, but for what was now possible. In that instant, the future of RIZIN felt limitless. The featherweight division stood on the edge of something extraordinary. Shidalev's ambition, Satoshi's mastery, Asakura's star power, these were not just fighters. They were symbols of the next great chapter. And as Sakakibara stepped away from the microphone, one thing was certain. New Year's Eve would not merely be an event. It would be a spectacle, a celebration, a declaration that Japanese MMA remains a force on the world stage. Every word he spoke echoed with the promise of history in the making. For the fighters, the fans, and the sport itself, a new era was about to begin. And when that winter night arrives, the stadium lights will shine on a stage where dreams and reality collide. The world will be watching. And RIZIN will deliver.